Hey, I hope you have a cup of coffee because I'm going to show you some really fun stuff. Obviously, it doesn't have to be hot coffee. It doesn't have to be hot. It might be warm where you are. I had to turn my air conditioner back on today. Why do you have a fire? Because I like the ambiance. But I burn a fire in my fireplace all year round because it doesn't actually heat my house very well. It just has a nice sound and a lovely glow. But I can't wait to show you what I'm making. Hello friend. I don't normally do, sorry, both my dogs are demanding pets right now. I don't normally do sit down videos and talk straight to the camera. It makes me a little uncomfortable, but I very much wanted to show you what I am making this year as Christmas presents. I don't always make Christmas presents. What? He's so silly. I don't always make Christmas presents. Some years I do, some years I don't. And for the last couple of years, I haven't really. Well, I guess I did. I made hats for my kids and mittens last year. And they appreciated it, but they weren't super excited about them. So this year, I really wanted to make them something that they would love. So I decided to make them amigurumi. I have made stuffed animals before, but this time I wanted to really go all out and make them something huge and beautiful. So let me show you what I decided to make. To start, I'm making giant plushies for my kids. I don't normally film videos this way, so I'm not really sure where the viewfinder is on this camera to look at it and like make it look like I'm making eye contact, so I hope you're patient with me, and I hope to perfect this style of shooting videos for future podcast style things. So I am making these unicorns. Not all unicorns. What is it? This is the Vinny the Dino pattern from Katie Dids. She's really popular on TikTok. She went TikTok famous for making beanies with her knitting machine, which I've done that a few times as well. I did buy a knitting machine because of her, and I love using it. And she does have she has a unicorn pattern as well, but I was lazy, not lazy, cheap, and I wanted to only buy one pattern, and the Vinny the Dinosaur pattern had all of the pieces that I knew I would need for all the different animals I want to make. So I am making 2 of these unicorns. This one is for my baby girl. It came out so much bigger than I thought it would. But why'd you guys stop walking into the tripod? It came out so much bigger than I thought it would. Sorry, my hair is in my face. He's just like staring at me like I owe him something. I expected it to come out like this big, like the size of her head, but she is really big. I used an 8mm hook and the Fable Fur yarn from We Crochet. I will link all of my materials that I'm using in the description so you can find them. So pros and cons of how I decided to make her. I wish I had used a smaller hook size. I used the 8mm. She came out really big just following the Rayanne pattern. I would have liked to make her a little bit smaller, but she is very, like, makes a big impression. So yay, I got the eyes. They're these glittery eyes. Whoop, look at her hair on the way. The eyes are off Etsy, and I just searched for 35mm rainbow safety eyes because that's what I wanted. And they came in a set of more than I needed, so I will have extra to make more stuffed animals at some point, I guess. Anyway, so I have her. She's finished. I also am going to be using the same pattern to make an assortment of dinosaurs and dragons and a cat. I have been requested. My oldest girl said she didn't want a unicorn, she wants a cat, so I'll be doing that. What's he doing, baby? What's he doing? Yeah? I got several colors because I knew not everybody was gonna want pink. So I dropped one. My son wants black. This is going to be so frustrating to work with, but you know, I'm going to give it my best shot. He wants a black dragon with blue and gray accents. So I guess the benefit of doing Fable Fur with black is you already can't see your stitches and you have to feel them either way. so I'll just be very reliant on feeling them. I will be using a 6.5mm hook for the rest of these because when I stuffed this big one, I felt like the stitches were too loose. And even though it is hidden under all the fuzz, my kids could poke their fingers in and start pull out the stuffing, which is not ideal. So if you are going to make a stuffed animal with Fable Fur yarn, which I highly recommend, because I'm sorry, oh, let me pick her up again. You can barely tell it's crocheted. It just looks like an incredible stuffy. And it really doesn't take that long to make. It's an incredibly simple pattern. You barely even have to look at it when you're using the Fable Fur because you just feel your stitches and you feel your way through. I do recommend using a stitch marker because you cannot count your stitches with the Fable Fur, so you really do have to like keep up with that. So I have the black that will have gray and blue accents in a dragon. I'll have to figure out how to make the wing. The dinosaur, or not dinosaur, the unicorn horn is my own design. I wanted a twisty horn. I can try and do like a tutorial on that on my TikTok or something, but I don't think I'll make a full video about it because just making stuffed animals just isn't really my thing. It's just something I'm doing this one time. So black, gray, and blue. My youngest loves orange. This was the orangiest of the Fable Fur yarns. They didn't have a lot of fantasy colors. They had a lot of these natural colors, which I think would look really cool if you were like making a sweater and like had a collar with the Fable Fur, because it would look very much like a faux fur collar because of how the stitches work up, and it's beautiful. But this had orangey-ish undertones, like it's kind of got some orangey undertones, but I'll be using orange and pink accents for this little dinosaur. And I had intended for the blue to be a dinosaur for my nephew, but my older daughter, who is 7, has informed me that pink is for baby girls, and so are unicorns. She is into teals and blue and adventures now. And I support that, that's fine. I mean, yes, I already bought pink yarn to make hers, but I will adjust. So this will be for her. I'll do hers in blue with some pink accents. I dropped my hook. And so this, I think I'm gonna make a cat. So I am using all the pattern pieces that are in the Vinny the Dinosaur pattern. I'm just repurposing some of them in different places. For instance, the Vinny the Dinosaur doesn't have an ear per se, but it does have the spikes that go down the back, and I'm using the spikes to be the ears. And so just changing up the different pieces to make what I needed, which is why I purchased that pattern, because I didn't want to buy 3 or 4 different patterns. I wanted one pattern that had all the pieces I needed to make everything. So for this, I am using a 6.5mm hook, which I'm using my furls. I don't know if you can hear my boys, but they're so loud right now. They're back in their room playing. They're supposed to be napping, but you know, whatever, as long as they're happy. But the fabric is much denser, and I think I won't have the problem with the stuffing possibly coming through and little fingers being able to pull it out. I also am making, I have this, what? He is such a goober. He is not gonna leave me alone while I'm trying to shoot this video. I am also using this for a dragon. It looks very gray in the viewfinder here, but in person it has a very teal undertone to it, so I'm thinking I will find some purple and teal to go with it. I will play that by ear as well, because all of the accent colors I'll just be pulling from my stash, so we'll see what I have in my stash to go with these. So I have that, and the blue, and the brown, and the black, and of course, oh, I'm dropping them all. Oh goodness gracious, I'm a mess. And pink. Oh, for her I used homespun, Lion brand homespun for the hair, and this was just a bulky, I don't know what it was. It was in my stash, didn't have a label anymore. It was probably something like I love this chunky, or some basic acrylic chunky yarn. So I asked my mom what she wanted for Christmas, because I know she wants me to make her something. And I'm so excited for them because they just bought their first house. They've never owned their own home. They're Mom is in her mid-50s and Dad is 60 now. I think he turned 61 this year. But they've never owned their own home before, and they just bought it. They've been getting it decorated. I went down and visited them, and I noticed she had so much art from my sister, who is an artist. In case you're wondering, she does do all of the art for my Etsy shop. So if you go to my Etsy shop, you'll see we have sweatshirts and mugs and hoodies. I actually don't have anything out right now. Yes, I do love you. Yes, I do love you. I don't have anything out right now to show you. I can go get some and show you later in the video. But she is an amazing artist. She does classical art, like with painting and stuff. She also does digital art. And my mom had so much art of her from Gracie, my sister, Elizabeth, whatever she wants to be called, in her house. And I was like, Mom, you don't have anything from me. I make all kinds of stuff. And I knew that she has all my early projects. She has my first Afghan. She has my first quilt. But she doesn't have any of my recent stuff. And what is it? What is it? He's wagging his tail so hard that it's slapping the leg of the tripod. And Roxy is fed up with this situation and has left. That's my little dog. He is my biker dog. He is so sick. He's so sick, but that's okay. We love you anyways. He has severe idiopathic epilepsy and has very severe seizures every month to 2 months, and is on regular medication for them. Yeah, and he probably won't last too much longer because he has suffered quite a bit of brain damage, but most of the time he is happy, albeit a little bit stupid, a little bit brain addled. You're gonna knock it over with your butt. A little bit addled from them all, but he's happy for the most part, and it hasn't gotten to the point where we feel like his quality of life is too bad. So I asked my mom what she wanted, and she said she wants some lace. I do make lace. I cut my crochet teeth with lace. Isn't that good? Do you feel so loved? I cut my crochet teeth making lace. I learned to make lace very early, following a pattern, a lace book. I cannot with words. Following a pattern book of lace patterns my mom had laying around. She taught me to crochet. So I will be making my mom a set of lace. I haven't really started. Like, I've gotten that far. You know, that's it. But she wants 2 matching small doilies, not big ones. She wants them small. There's a specific place she wants them hung. She wants them to be wall art, not table art. So I am using, I just realized I'm covered in dog hair. I will be using the Juno collection by Grace Fearon. I just purchased the collection. I've made a few of her free patterns before. They are they're so beautiful and so detailed. Highly recommend them. I will be doing a full video on teaching yourself to crochet lace and how to adjust to the thinner texture of working with thread versus working with yarn, and recommending a few lace designers that I find particularly inspiring. It's been a really long time since I have made something for my dad. I do make him things from time to time, and he absolutely loves having handmade things from us. Let's see, the last thing I made him was a turtle, a little crochet turtle. A couple of years ago, I designed a baby blanket. I called it my Destin baby blanket. It was a ripple wave pattern, and I used 2 different shades of blue, and it alternated 2 different shades of blue up the blanket and varying width of stripes of blue. And then I designed a little turtle applique to go on the blanket in different spots. And it was supposed to look like sea turtles, and it was super cute. But I had one sea turtle, it was my prototype. I didn't like how he turned out. There was just a couple things that wasn't quite right. And I felt like his color didn't match the rest of the sea turtles. So my dad adopted him and turned him into a keychain and has been carrying it in his pocket ever since. And he loves so much the stuff I make. He has been so incredibly supportive of my blog and my designing. He comments on my YouTube videos from time to time, even though he has, well, there goes the sun. Goodbye. Well, even though he has so little, he doesn't know what's going on in these videos half the time. He doesn't know much about crocheting, but he very much appreciates what I do and sees the art and the value of it. He's also purchased things from my Etsy shop, even though they're very much not his style, and he gives them away as gifts. He bought a sweatshirt for my sister from our Etsy shop, and I thought it was hilarious because my sister's the artist. It is her art that is on the sweatshirt. Every time I order a new pack of stickers, I always set aside a few, or like one of each piece to send to her. I feel like she's earned it. I do also pay her for the designs, but I feel like she deserves to have the stickers as well. Anyways, I decided to make my dad socks. I just learned to knit socks this year. I finished my first pair. I did a video. The last video before this was about the first pair of socks that I made. I had so much fun making them, and I thought, you know, my dad has this weird obsession with wool socks. He's always looking for the perfect wool sock. So look, I'm gonna hand knit my dad a pair of socks. He will probably never wear them because either they won't match his clothes, or he will be too worried about tearing them up. But I know he will absolutely love the idea of wool socks. His favorite place to shop where we lived in North Carolina, his favorite place to shop was the sock outlet. It was a sock outlet. He loved getting socks. So I am making 2 at a time. Here comes the sun again. 2 at a time knit socks for my dad. I picked up this really pretty green yarn from my local yarn shop in Ashland, Virginia. It's called Center of the Yarniverse. My goodness, if you guys need anything yarn related and you are from the greater Richmond area, Center of the Yarniverse, they're so helpful, so kind. They have both crochet and knit classes, so they are a true yarn shop. They are not a knit shop. They do felting, weaving, crochet, and knitting, and they have people who can help you with all of those crafts. So I actually just started these socks yesterday, and I am doing cuff down 2 at a time socks. I need to trim my tails from my long tail cast on so they're not in the way while I'm working. So I've got that far so far, and they're going to be super simple. I am doing the same pattern that I followed for my other pair of socks, except hopefully better this time, and that is the Vanilla Sock Pattern Magic Loop Method by the Crazy Sock Lady. I am doing a different cuff. She does a knit 1 purl 1 cuff in that pattern. I am doing a knit 2 purl 2 cuff. I just like it better. I don't have anything against the other one. I just like the thicker ribbing for some reason. Just makes me happy. So I am making those for my dad. That is what he is getting for Christmas this year. Last thing that I'm planning to make for Christmas, and if I get through all of this, I will either make myself something for Christmas or make my husband something for Christmas. I can't think of what to make him this year. Last year I made him a hat, and he uses it all the time. It's the Hanover Beanie pattern that's on my blog. It's our picture here. He absolutely loves that hat. Wears it all the time. All winter long. I have to wash it probably. It probably needs to be washed. But if I get through the 7 stuffed animals and the socks and the 2 lace doilies and this one that I'm about to show you, I will either make something for myself, something for my husband, or I'll make slipper socks for my brothers. This is going to be a gift for my sister. I've mentioned her several times in this video already. My sister and I are very close. We have been through a lot together over the last few years. She's lived with me off and on. She just got married this last October and it's been a long year. And if you've been around my page for any length of time, you've probably heard this story, but she struggles very much with depression and had a very dark year last year. This year and last year. This year wasn't as bad. But I know last year with the lockdowns and everything, it was very hard on a lot of people. And I have traditionally made a blanket for each of my siblings once they got married. Now, to be fair, my skills have improved immensely since my brother got married 11 years ago. Their dog gets their blanket, the one that I made them, and I don't mind that. I sometimes see people complain, oh, I made this blanket, and they just let their dog play with it and wallow on it. That does not bother me in the least. First off, Riley is an amazing dog. He's beautiful. He is basically their firstborn son, and I do not have a problem with that. If they want to share their blanket with their dog, I think it's a beautiful thing. Also, I was trying to save money, so I bought really bulky yarn, and I used a V-stitch with a very large hook. And so the blanket's very holey, and it's not, I don't think it's very comfortable to cuddle with as a human, but their dog loves it, so I think that's a great way to use it. So I will probably, I imagine I will be making new blankets for my sisters-in-law, not for my brother. I'm very close to both of my sisters-in-law, and I want them to have an amazing blanket that they love. And I decided not to make a blanket for my sister, her first Christmas married. We hosted her wedding, coordinated everything, scheduled everything. I did all of the planning, the vendors. It was a lot. It was a lot. And I was very happy to do it. I have no regrets. However, I suffered major burnout afterwards, which I think is to be expected in that circumstance. It was a high stress. It was crazy. It was crazy. So I decided to wait. And then this year, I was like, this is the year. This is the year I'm going to make my sister her blanket. But I couldn't keep it simple. I just can't. I always have to take it one step further than it really needs to go. So I decided to make her Sophie's Universe. If you've not seen the Sophie's Universe blankets or any of the blankets by Deidre, you must. They're divine. Oh, sorry, I'm a weirdo, and I know it doesn't come across in my regular videos because I try to make them calm and peaceful, but I'm a little bit of a weirdo. But let me show you. So here it is. It is so beautiful. She wanted purples, blues, and yellow, with a little bit of yellow, and that's what I've done. And I picked some neutrals to go with it. I like having the white as the dominant color. I think it anchors everything and keeps it from being too busy, and all of it is just like And if you're thinking, do you want to keep it for yourself? Not really, no. I'm a very practical person, and I like things that I can use. And I will not use this blanket. I will make it, and then it will sit in a pile. I love that I can make it and send it to my sister, and it will grace the back of her couch and be treasured. And she told me while I was making it, she was like, I don't deserve a blanket that fancy. I realized that a blanket like that probably costs thousands of dollars if you were to sell it, and I can't. And I was like, that's not what this is about, okay? I understand the importance of pricing your art, etc. And I am not trying to undersell any crafter or anything out there. But for me, this is a gift. This is an act of love. And I want to make it because I just want to make the pattern. But I don't want it to sit around my house, get destroyed by my dogs or my kids, or just not be loved. But I know that I can reap the mental health benefits of crocheting this and then send it to my sister, and she will reap the mental health benefits of having it. So I think it's beautiful. I still have a ways to go. I had a whole schedule written out in my notebook about how many rows I needed to do every week to make sure it was done in time for Christmas, but I haven't worked on it in about a week and a half, maybe even 2 weeks. I'm terribly time blind. I have no idea. So I'm probably very behind on it, but it's gonna be okay. I will finish it in time. It is a 10-hour drive to my parents' house, so if I haven't finished it before then, I will finish it on the drive to their house for Christmas. This will also be the first Christmas that our family is together in like 10 years, so I'm very excited for this. It's gonna be amazing gear. I hope you found this video interesting, fun, maybe a little bit different. If you really like this style, this like sit down chatty podcast style, I would like to make it a thing that happens at least once a month. This particular time I just showed you what I have planned to make for Christmas, but in future sort of podcast style sit down videos, I would show you yarn acquisitions, new projects, upcoming projects, what I'm working on, new designs, maybe even sneak peeks at secret designs, because I do design for magazines from time to time. And I don't always have to keep them a super secret, but I don't always post them anywhere else. So if you like this video, please comment and tell me. If you didn't like this video, also comment and tell me. There's this thing, it's called communication. It's really handy. It helps people to know what you're thinking. So I would love to know what you think, because this content, as much as I get a personal release and personal joy in creating it, I want you to experience joy watching it. So if you enjoyed this video in this style and you'd like to see it more, please let me know, and I will try to remember to look not at my reflection, but at the thing where the camera is. I should put like a sticky note that says, look here, because I don't remember. The boys are up, it's getting noisy here, and my daughter is walking home from school. So it's time for me to get back to being mom. Hopefully I will have this video up for you soon. I hope you stick around, like and subscribe. I'd love to be at 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Bye.